We're live at the Simple
You're
Programmer
pink.
rave party. Yeah.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Pink.
Bonjour.
Is pink the official color of French now, or what's going on?
It's I've got a red curtain on my window.
It's amazing.
It makes pink.
Yes.
So
I've never seen anything. I'm sorry, I'm just really hung up on this, John. I've never seen anything quite like it.
and
What happens if you take that red curtain down? Are you exposing yourself to the world or something?
Well, then the sun will be in my face, and it's like 90 degrees outside in Paris, which is like there's like this freak heat wave or something. So I brought the heat from Florida to Paris.
Nice. Do you have AC there?
No, they don't. I don't think they're prepared for AC. Like
Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah.
basically all of Europe does not have air conditioning. Is that true?
I think that's probably true. I mean, I've only been to one of Europe so far. Like,
Okay.
well, this on this trip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had air conditioning in Sweden, actually. I think, yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Copenhagen, they had air conditioning. I just opened the door.
I was going to say, when I was in Italy, you know, all the apartments that I lived in over the 2 years, yeah, the air conditioning was, okay, I'm going to open the window on this end of the apartment, I'm going to go open the window on the other end of the apartment.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
There's definitely been some different things. There's really like Diet Coke is not. That was the biggest surprise so far. I think it's like.
Yeah,
like
it's
Diet
not
soda.
Diet Coke. It's
It
Coke
It
free.
tastes different.
Well, no. It's just no, none of that actually. That it's not available very much.
It's not
Like,
available. Oh yeah.
and it's extremely expensive. So
Yes.
you know, being the you when you go to the restaurant in the U.S., right, you order Diet Coke and you get like 5 refills, right?
Right.
And it's like, I mean, they overprice you in a restaurant like
That's like $2.50.
All right, so if you order a Diet Coke in Paris, it's like €6,
Yeah.
which is basically $6 now because
Hmm.
yay dollar versus the euro. But and then it comes in a small cup and there's no refills.
Right.
Wow.
So you're like, wow, it would have been cheaper to order the beer and the wine.
It would have
I
to.
remember the Coke tasting different in Italy than
It probably
Yeah, most of the time when I was in Bulgaria, I would order a Coke free, which was their version of Diet Coke, and they would give me a Coke Zero because most places just don't have Diet Coke; they have Coke Zero.
or Coke Light, yeah.
Right? Yeah, or Coke Light. So it never tasted the way I wanted it to because it was never what I actually wanted, but. It was, it was fine. At least it wasn't $6 for a stupid little cup in Bulgaria or in Copenhagen. It was
Yeah.
like $2 or $3 for a little bottle, but I mean that's
Okay.
typical around here too.
Well, at a restaurant, yeah, yeah.
You should find out what kinds of sodas they have there because I remember in Italy, I really liked Kinotto and Pompelmo, which Kinotto was kind of a cola, but it was made with fennel, which is
Oh, nice, yeah.
tastes kind of like licorice.
Black
Yeah.
licorice. I hate fennel.
And it was pretty good. And then, yeah, it was somewhere between cola and root beer without all the sweetener.
Yeah.
And then, Pompelmo is it was a grapefruit, so it's kind of like Fresca, except it was more
Nice.
grapefruit.
I do love Fresca.
Fruity, which was pretty good. Find out what the locals get when they get soda. Go buy a couple
Okay.
bottles.
Well, I guess in France, like in Paris, it's not like you don't drink soda unless you're a child. Like at a restaurant, like,
Yeah.
so it's like,
I
okay.
can act like a child. I
Yeah.
want soda.
I want Diet Coke.
Oh man. When I was in college, I went out to eat with some of my friends, and I ordered chicken fingers, and never heard the end of it. Like, I like them. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But,
Mocked ruthlessly.
yeah, it's been interesting. There's definitely some things that are different here, but that was probably the biggest shocker that I found.
Yeah.
Like because that's a shocker, right? It's like the elevator up to our apartment holds 3 people. Like it literally holds 3 people. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just like a box elevator. Like 3 people squished together. So it's just fun.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. So it looked like you have your Apple Watch.
Oh yes, I did. I got it in
Oh.
in Paris at the. There's not very many places that you can buy an Apple Watch, and so fortunately, being in Paris, that's one of the places that their flagship stores, like they had a couple in stock. So I went down to actually I went on a wild goose chase because I went to the main Apple store in the Louvre. And that's like that Apple store you see on what you call it, whatever, the glass one.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't have any Apple Watches, so they're like, oh, you need to go to the Opera. Like behind there's another Apple store. So I went to the Opera, like this huge Opera that's near us, and I talked to some security guards who didn't speak English at all. Tried to keep as Apple Palm store. And they're like, and then I pull out my iPhone and like Apple store. And they're like, oh, you're at the wrong Opera. I'm like, what? There's more than one Opera? More than one giant Opera with stores? Yep. So there's like this other Opera. So we're walking, and then we went to that Opera and found the Apple store there. And then the guy's like, "Oh, we don't have the Apple Watch." It's like your next mission. This is actually there's a watch store, like an Apple Watch. So like another like a little booth, an Apple booth inside of this what they call is a gallery. And so this is kind of the craziest thing, right? So you walk into this thing. It's almost like a department store, except it's booths from like every single high-end company for watches, for clothing, for jewelry. So there's like a little booth that's like Coach and Prada and Armani Exchange and like all of these different ones, right? These high class, like all these shoe places, like, and they're just like all packed in. So imagine like all the like most expensive stores in the world, all like this is our most expensive stuff, and we're all like next to each other. So like if you just had like $1 million that you just needed, that was just burning a hole in your pocket, you could just like go and you could buy $1 million worth of stuff just like that, right? And so they have all these watch manufacturers, $20,000 watches and all these, and then there's Apple Watch right there. So and nice. They sell Apple. So that was my mission to get it, but. Yep, and I ended up paying like something like €700. Like it ended up costing me almost $1,000, I think, for the.
Wow.
I got the watch edition, right? So it's got the kind of the fancy
the Apple Watch edition?
Yeah.
No. The actual name is Apple Watch Edition. That is the complete name.
Okay, Apple Watch. I got the edition.
Apple's product names are insane. I'm sorry.
What's the $10,000 one then? Or
that's the gold version of it. It's made out of solid gold.
Yeah, but that's like Apple Watch. Like I don't know, but anyway, it's called Edition or whatever. It's not the sports one. It's the one up from the sports one, because it's actually more durable for sports. It's got actually like scratch resistant and all the stuff. So it's worth the extra.
The sports edition is not durable enough for sports. That's...
Exactly. And well, it's funny. I got the sports band, so I'm able to swap out the band, right? So I bought this additional sports band that I can swap out for this. And I'm talking about this. I'm glad you asked because people love talking about Mac and Apple stuff. When they do that, so.
Totally.
So I want to hear a little bit. I want to hear what your initial impressions of. How long have you had it?
Okay, so I've had it for. Did I get it yesterday? Yes.
Okay,
I got
so we're still in the honeymoon period.
Yeah. So far, I would pay the $1,000 that it cost just to be able to put the directions in on my phone to get to a place, the walking directions, and to be able to use the walking navigation feature of the phone. Of the watch. Right. That in itself, on a 3-month trip through Europe, where I'm going to be walking through cities, is worth $1,000. So I'm sold at that point. This is an awesome feature. So you use Apple Maps, right? You put in your destination on your phone, and it can recall them on there, right? And
I
then
want him to find John's bloody corpse in an alley, makes a wrong turn because he
I
was
walked
looking at his
right
watch.
into a lake. Like bad alleys. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so while you're walking, it tells you it's like in 870 feet, make a left on Rue de Pavilion or whatever it is, right? And then when you're getting close to it, it vibrates your wrists. It gives you this little so that you know to look. And then when you look at it, you can quickly see that you're going to turn left in so many feet or whatever it is, the name of the road, and you can do a swipe over and you can see the actual map on there if you want. And it basically gives you turn-by-turn directions to walk to a place, what your ETA is, all that. So that alone for navigating European cities is worth it.
Oh, wow.
Aside from that, it's a fashion accessory.
Driving, too.
What's that?
Sounds like it might be pretty cool for driving, too, then.
I don't know if it'll work. I'll have to try that.
Apple Maps. It got me lost twice in Atlanta this week. Then I finally opened Google Maps, and it took me right where I wanted to go.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if they activate it for driving, right? Because that seems like it'd be dangerous. You know what I'll do when I'm in Western Ireland, driving on the wrong side of the road with sheep. I'll try it then. We'll see.
Definitely a good time to try new technology.
Yeah.
Totally.
But aside from that, I mean, it does have a nice health feature, which is cool because it tells you, I mean, more than just your steps, but it kind of keeps it. You got the goal and the tracking, which is nice, like number of calories, and then it's got like a few. I'm still waiting for apps that need to be integrated into it. I haven't gone for a run or anything with it. It's nice though. It's nice looking, like it's a stylish watch. I mean, just the convenience of having the time on your wrist. I forgot how convenient that is when you're used to flipping out your cell phone all the time. And having the maps on your wrist, trying to grab things and grab your cell phone, being able to see the temperature and your appointments on your wrist is pretty nice. So, and they do have like an iTunes or a podcast player app, which supposedly you can go for a run and do that. But Google Maps and Gmail is not on there yet. They don't have iPhone or iWatch versions, and there's another. And Audible is not on there yet, so that kind of sucks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'll be happy with it.
Are you gonna update Pacemaker?
I should, but no. I don't even know if I have the source code.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. But now I have my bling, so there we go.
Nice.
So what else are you guys doing over there? Are you actually going and speaking and stuff too, or?
No, I decided not to because it just makes things too complicated. And then I'm here with my family and stuff. They're gonna want to. Yeah. So we've been walking like 10 to 15 miles a day.
Oh man.
Yeah, in Paris. So just like I know Paris pretty well now, like just walking around, which is pretty cool. We saw like the Eiffel Tower. I recorded a YouTube video at the Eiffel Tower. Brought like a little lapel mic to do that, and then we went and saw like the Mona Lisa, which is pretty cool. Surprisingly not as crowded as I would have expected. What else did we do? We went to like where Napoleon's tomb is. This big like what do they call it? Like a I can't remember what it's called. It's like that. It's like I thought the word it starts with an S, like a. I can't think of what it was.
Sarcophagus?
No. It's like a round thing, like a mausoleum, but like a. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, the Eiffel Tower is actually a lot bigger than I expected. You take an elevator up, like a slanting elevator. Mm-hmm. It's actually scary as hell. Because it's like this old elevator, like with pistons, and it's like in like this whole car full of people, and it's like going up and sideways, like diagonal. It's going diagonal.
Okay.
And then it starts to go up, and it's high. It's pretty high. Like we didn't go to the very top of the Eiffel Tower. You can, but even just going up to the second floor, if you have fear of heights, like it'll freak you the hell out probably because it is a pretty freaky ride. Uh, and then we went to Disneyland Paris. We took the subway there, so that was kind of an adventure. And Disneyland Paris is actually pretty cool because there, at least at this time, there was hardly anyone in the park. So like all the rides, like the wait times were like 5 to 10 minutes.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to Disneyland, California, middle of July. We're hoping that it will be after the 4th of July season rush, and we're going to go during the week, so hopefully it'll be like completely empty. Last time, well, the only time I've been to Disneyland, we went there the Tuesday and Wednesday after Memorial Day, or
Oh,
whatever the holiday is in September, early September.
Labor Day.
Labor Day, yeah. So yeah, so we were there for 2 days, and there were no lines at all. It was really nice.
yeah, yeah. If you can catch them on, well, like one of the best things, like the biggest tip for anyone, like the whole, like listening to this podcast will totally be worth it if you go to Disney World. If you get this one tip, which is go to the Mickey Halloween party for Disney World in October, like anytime during the month of October. It's at night, right? And it's only like for like 5 or 6 hours, but they give out free candy and it's kind of cool. But all the rides are like open, right? And there's hardly anyone there, like so you just get to ride everything, like because if you go, like if you take your family to Disney World, like in the summer, and in like let's say that you think you're gonna do it like a couple days or something, you're gonna ride like 5 rides in like 3 days, and it's gonna be hot as hell and humid. Like it's gonna feel like being in hell, you know. So if you do the Halloween one is the best. Like that's like whenever we go to that, that's like always the best. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper price. It's like $70 or $60 a person, I think.
Oh wow.
Instead of like 120 or whatever it is. And you get free stuff and it's cool, and it's cool outside. But yeah, the Disneyland Paris is actually interesting too. Like some of the rides, like there's an Indiana Jones ride there, and it's actually a real roller coaster with an inversion in it. So it was a pretty shock when I got on there, and then it was like, oh, I'm upside down. Okay, like, 'cause you didn't expect it, right? It's like if you know you're going upside down, but and then the Big Thunder Railroad there is like is normally I thought that was like a mild ride, like roller coaster at the other parks, but on this one it's pretty crazy. It's like
cool,
like 3 pitch black sections, and like I took my 4-year-old daughter on there, and she was like, she doesn't really like roller coasters. And like, oh, this one's just like a baby one. And she was like, ah.
Nice.
So
Therapy.
but we pretty much won every single ride, I think, like all the major rides in the day there. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Paris. Tomorrow we're leaving for Berlin at 7 a.m. So
Nice. Are you trying to work much while you're there? Like how much?
I'm just trying to keep up with emails,
Okay.
get the newsletter and blog posts out, and record Get Up and Code episodes and a few YouTube videos on this, like in locations. But that's pretty much it. Like I'll take some phone calls and stuff and do some coaching, but aside from that, I'm trying not to work as much as possible.
Nice.
that just sounds fun. Someday.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant trying not to work. Like,
Yeah.
No, I meant going to Europe and trying.
No,
not
I
to
mean
work.
trying not to work. I mean,
yeah, no, yeah. It's so we'll see. I think it's gonna be fun. So far, it's been pretty cool. It's been long days, but seeing Paris is definitely interesting. Like there's a lot of the language barrier is definitely difficult here, like more so than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But we tried to mail a package today, and we went to a post office in the non-tourist area side of town, and it was like I was like, carton, like, USA, fragile.
Awesome.
Figured it out. Yeah. Great. So, what about you guys? What's been going on?
been working my butt off all week on this RabbitMQ for developers marketing stuff. I've got the core structure and most of the content for the actual sales page. which I don't want to give the URL out yet because it won't be available when this episode comes out, but it's coming along pretty well, I think. The structure is all there, the core content is all there. I'm going through and editing and making it look nicer and all that kind of stuff, but I started the whole thing out with the typical, stick a knife in a wound and then twist it a couple of times, but then I very quickly lead into, okay, here's something that you can do about it, and oh, why RabbitMQ and messaging, and tell my own personal story about how I came into using that, and then after that go into how there's all this great stuff, but it can be difficult to learn.
Yeah.
So here's all of these resources that I've compiled for you to help you get up and running quickly with the screencasts and the book and the interviews, and and then go into what people are saying, and I've got a couple of quotes in there, and then anchor pricing with the $1,500 mastermind bundle, the $400 on their own, and then the total price of $249 for the actual bundle. And then at the bottom, I list out the three packages, with my first, the complete package being everything, 12 screencasts, 6 interviews, all the stuff associated with that, the ebook. And then the second version is the ebook and the screencast with 2 interviews, but you don't get everything with those interviews. You don't get the audio. And then the smallest bundle.
You don't get the audio of the
yeah, you just get to watch people.
If you're really good at lip reading.
Lip syncing, exactly. you don't get the MP3 version of it, is what I meant to say. And then the final version of it being just the ebook with 1 interview, which is the Udi DeHaan interview, as a bonus in there. Since that episode's free anyways, I figure I'll just give that to people as part of the download. So
that'd be awesome. Reviews. I kind of like the package, but he doesn't give you the audio for free. Oh, you want some audio with that?
Oh, you want audio?
Yeah, okay, I got a deal on some audios.
Well,
give you some audios.
You're in luck. And for an extra $49.95, I can sync the audio and the video on one video. On one of them. Per video.
Nice.
Which do you want? Do you want the audios or do you want the videos? Which one do you want?
Can't
Do
do
you want to see it or you want
both.
to
Are you
hear
crazy?
it? You tell me.
Or you could do the Sanmez approach, which would be to take the wrong audio and put it with the video.
Exactly. Yeah.
Try to line them up and then go crazy.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on all week. I've blogged about this a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. My most recent post actually I thought it was a really good post. It hasn't been getting that much traffic, but it's all about letting code fail and still being successful with message queues. It's a pretty long post, and it outlines this whole series of things that have gone on with the applications that I've been building in the last couple of years, and with Signal specifically, and talks about a whole bunch of problems that I ran into and how I'm solving these problems with RabbitMQ, and provides some pretty specific details about the solutions, and then where these ideas came from in the interviews and this bundle that I put together. So hopefully, all these things that I'm doing are generating some real interest in this, because I'm putting a ton of work into this.
Yeah.
And I need some wins here.
It looks good. I mean, yeah, I think you should do well in it. I mean, you might run into the same problem that you have as far as like audience, like in interest in RabbitMQ. I mean, you might be solving this pain point really well, but there just might not be enough people in your audience that have that pain. So that would be the only reason why you would not do well with this. Like, what I mean, at this point, like you've isolated all the other variables really in my mind. Like there's no way this should fail based on aside from that reason.
Right.
And not including the audios.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. But I think this has a better chance of doing well long term.
Yeah.
Because the price point was the real problem with that.
Yeah.
mastermind bundle that I was trying to do, and I think I've pretty much solved that problem by keeping it under 250. Plus, I'm probably going to have a discount for people on my mailing list and all that. And then long term, as I continue blogging about all the things that I'm doing with RabbitMQ and Node.js, I mean, I'm just going to continue referencing this over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get on a couple of podcasts in the next couple of months. Chuck and I had talked about me being on one or two of his and getting that scheduled. And there's several other podcasts that I could get onto. I could probably get into .NET Rocks again. I was on there a couple years ago talking about JavaScript, and I could talk about architecture and how RabbitMQ helps that kind of stuff. And so there's lots of opportunity for this to do well. I'm kind of trying to follow in your footsteps, John, with what you did with the how to market yourself as a developer course. I think you did a lot of really good things with marketing that course, and I'm kind of heading down that same path with what I'm doing.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll do well with it. So when is the actual launch date?
June 15th.
June 15th. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like a week and a half. I'm starting to, after I get this sales page done today, I'm calling it done after today.
Yep.
No matter what the state is in, and I'm starting to write all of my launch sequence emails because I have a lot of ideas and things rolling around in my head for these launch sequences. So I know generally what I'm going to be writing. I just got to sit down and actually do the writing now. I've got several stories to work with, several blog posts that I'll be able to work with in the sequence, a whole bunch of information. I spent part of the last week and a half doing a talk abstract for RabbitMQ as well for a talk that I submitted to Thunder Plains in Oklahoma, which, by the way, if anybody listening is anywhere near Oklahoma, check out Thunder Plains Conference. It's a phenomenal conference I've been to a number of times. Hoping to get into there again this year with a RabbitMQ talk. And the process of going through the revisions on that abstract and having people review the abstract for me has given me a whole bunch of stuff to use in the marketing for this bundle, which is really nice.
Nice.
So that's my entire life right now is trying to get this marketing done. I'm still waiting for a couple of last final few things from some editors, from Mandy working on the transcripts and getting notes and resources, but she says she'll have those to me like in the next 2 or 3 days, I think. So I gave her until like next Friday, a week from today. So as long as she has them done by then, I'll be good to go. Even if she's not done by then, oh well, I'm gonna launch it anyways, and I'll just add those in afterwards.
That new logo looks pretty dang cool, by the way.
The 99 Designs contest that I did, which has been interesting and kind of a sore spot with conversations with some people, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, the character design that this person came up with, I did this 99 Designs contest, and this person created this phenomenal character. It's like you guys familiar with those
Teletubbies?
Mooney dolls?
Teletubbies.
Yeah, Teletubbies. Not quite.
There we go. Yeah.
But there's the
I know them
vinyl
well.
Mooney dolls that you can buy at like Barnes and Noble and stuff. They're typically blank and you color on them and stuff. And so the character design reminds me of that, but it's this simple little triangle body with legs in there and arms sticking out, but then this gigantic block head that is shaped like a TV. I don't have.
Is it like one of these?
You
Derek?
just randomly have dolls, like
Exactly.
unopened dolls in your.
Yeah, that's exactly
It's a collector's edition,
Mooney
man.
doll that I was thinking about. The character design looks like that, except it's a block for a head in the shape of a TV.
Yeah.
I'll post this link in chat so you guys can see it while we're chatting, while we're talking here. But it's this great little character. It looks like a TV, for the whole Watch Me Code thing. It's got the JavaScript yellow in it, and the designer put all of these wonderful expressions on there. You know, some of them with thumbs up, some of them smiling, with
Nice.
head tilted. There's some with sunglasses and some with regular glasses.
Oh, that's
There's
great.
just a ton of phenomenal characters in this design that this person created. So I'm gonna award this person as the winner of the contest for sure.
That's great. You got to get a bunch of those too. Do you have to pay extra for the extras?
I don't know. I'm gonna talk to him afterwards and see how they want to do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay him the full reward for the contest that I did, but I'm gonna talk with him afterwards as well and work out a deal with him to continue getting character designs, because I want stickers, I want T-shirts, I want all kinds of stuff with this character design, and I want them to.
That's great. Like if you've got all those variations too, because you can use them and have the subtle differences. Like we've been watching Once Upon a Time, that
Right.
show, and they have every time, after when the credits come on, they've got I don't know what the term is in TV, but it's just like a forest, and then there will be something from the story, and it changes every single time, and it's you're always looking for it. It's just kind of cool.
Nice.
It'd be cool to also use those as overlays in your actual videos, like at certain points, almost like the smiley or the happy, or the watch out for this, caution, so you could actually break it into segments and have a hint, and then have the guy come up and stuff like that, or even in the blog post, to put that as a hint box or something like that. That'd be cool. Or when people unsubscribe, or then maybe it's the logo with the unhappy guy
crying.
and
Right.
or he's got a gun or something, and he's got it to his head, and
Totally. So
or he's holding a Teletubby and
lots of options. Have him stomp
Teletubby.js.
So the second half of that story, I have several friends that are designers that when I was talking about this on Twitter, they came back with some of the responses that I've seen before.
Not
about
the 99
how
design wine. Oh, God.
Yeah,
the conversation.
99 Designs is essentially devaluing designers in the marketplace with the contests that they run. Well, I get their point. I don't think 99 Designs itself is terrible. I get the point about why the contests, about the problems with the contests, though. There's one particular website, nospec.com, I think it was. Nospec.com. It's got some pretty good information on the problems with speculative work, which when I first heard, spec work, I was like, what do you mean? What's wrong with specifications? That's a good thing, right? But they mean spec as in speculative.
Yeah.
So they do make some good points about speculative work and contests, especially about how people spend a lot of time and effort on these things, and that effort gets thrown away. At the same time, it's really expensive to get good logos created, and I paid $1,200 for this contest and got a phenomenal logo out of this. So it's like, well, dang it, I get the point, because I hate sites like freelance.com because it devalues what software developers are worth. I've fought time and time again against things like Elance and programmers for hire on these kinds of websites, because you get this terrible quality software developer bidding $15 an hour, and here I am saying $150 an hour. Well, the same thing is happening with these contest sites on 99 Designs and whatnot.
The internet turns everything into a commodity, though.
Yeah.
Okay, that is unavoidable. It's completely unavoidable, and freelance writers whine about this too.
Yeah.
And the answer, it's unavoidable. You're going to be competing against people worldwide, so get over it. And there's nothing wrong with doing a contest like you did. There are people who were in my shoes a year ago who didn't have I never had any clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had no portfolio. That's perfect use for something like 99 Designs. Get on there, do some put some elbow grease into it, and and get some work that you can show. You you can't make a career out of that.
Right.
Everyone whines that they want I always pronounce this word wrong. Was it meritocracy?
Meritocracy.
Meritocracy,
Yeah.
right?
Meritocracy is a lie.
Everyone whines that they want it, right? But 99 Designs is it. They don't like it when they see it.
Right.
Free Elance and Odesk, that is it. Because you know what? Because on 99 Designs, it doesn't matter if you have a reputation or a name or whatever. It's if you produce the best design, right?
That's actually I'll counter that. And on 99 Designs, it does matter what your reputation is, because I paid for the platinum level, the $1,200 package with this, specifically so that I would not have to deal with people that were not good designers.
Right.
I only wanted the top of the line, and that's all based on ratings. And some of the designs that I got were still, less than high quality. But the problem with the ratings is it's all speculative work. People spend time and effort on this, and they don't know if it's something that I'm going to like or not until they've put in this time and effort. There's no opportunity for them to do market research up front, to talk with me about the things that I do and don't like, other than the brief little survey that 99 Designs provides and the example logos that I picked out from there. So they go and spend time and effort producing a design, and they put it up there, and I trash it and say, no, I don't like it for these reasons, and eliminate it. And some people stick around and work through that. Some people are a little more intelligent, and they read all of that feedback over the first few days before putting in a design. Some people,
yeah, but it's
the meritocracy is kind of sort of there, but not really.
No, that's exactly
having good skills is not enough anymore.
Right.
Having good skills is not enough.
And that's what a meritocracy will be. You don't want a meritocracy, honestly. Like you want a meritocracy to exist at the low level, at the entry level, so there's not gatekeepers. I totally agree with that, right? Because things like Elance have given a lot of people who are skilled in India and Pakistan and Philippines like chances to compete with, like to work hard and get a break, right? The same thing with 99 Designs, with designers who have no name, right? So in that way, they're a meritocracy. But then at the upper echelon level, right? Like when someone builds a name and a reputation, they have the ability to rise above a meritocracy and to actually build a reputation and brand for themselves and market themselves, and then to build a following if they're willing to do that extra work. But they need to start from somewhere. And before, there were all these gatekeepers that prevented you from doing that.
Yeah.
And
the established players always like the gatekeepers.
Exactly.
They make your life easy.
Yep.
And that's what they're whining about, is the removal of the gatekeepers.
Yeah, so we've opened up the gates, but you're still never going to bill like huge amounts unless you have your own branding, audience, following, reputation. And you have to build that.
You need your own unique selling proposition, right? Like you need to be able to say, I am the only designer who can do X. And then you're not competing with anybody. You're the only choice.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you're in good shape.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with software development, right?
Competition. Yep.
I do want to point out that you're actually incorrect about 99 Designs. It is a full-on meritocracy, and the reason is because they don't restrict who can submit designs to any particular contest. The difference is that since you're paying more, the payout is higher, and so you attract the people who are going to compete on the higher priced ones and not on the lower priced ones.
That's not what I understood when I was reading the different levels.
Okay.
When I read it, it said work only with the best designers.
But the implication is
by 99 Design staff.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah. Even then, it's still based on ratings. It's not based on like this person is cool and they have an iWatch. Because
in a pink room.
But I mean, it's still based on rate. I don't know. I mean, people whine about this. It's like job automation, right? It's like people are like, oh, back then it was like typists, right, and word processors replaced, and factory workers and automated machinery. And it's like, oh, let's throw up unions and all this and try to fight advancement. Or even today, taxi cab drivers complaining about Uber. It's like you can't stop you can't stop things
Yeah.
from happening that are
Yeah.
better for the end user, right? If the end user doesn't like it, they're not going to pay for it. And like when you artificially try to stop these things because it's unfair, my answer is like stop whining, grow up, and like figure out how to compete in that space. Like and the answer that I mean, this is the thing that I preach all the time to software developers is like do not compete with them. Like I know that you're so sad that your job went to India and like you now hate Indians because they're stealing your jobs, right? But don't do that. Like instead, don't compete with them. Like say, okay, here's the thing. Like you can work with this Indian development shop. This guy's a great developer. Like he's an awesome Java developer. But I'll tell you what, like I understand what your company's trying to build. I do more than just write code. Like I have connections. I understand the industry. I understand how to figure out your business problem and to solve that problem. If you just want someone to write code, yeah, $15 an hour, that guy can do it. But this is the reason why I'm charging $150 an hour is because I come in and I dissect your problem. I fix your actual problem, and you don't have to you don't have to give me the instructions like write this specific thing. This guy's great at that, but you have to not compete with them. And the same thing is in every space. With designers, it's the same thing, right? With copywriters and marketers, same thing. With writers, same. I mean, I'll give her a plug the third time on the show. From craft your content. I just forgot Elisa, right? I just mess up her name, but anyway, she totally set herself out right aside, so apart from everyone else. So she's not competing with them, and I think that's the key. I mean, that's part of the thing that we're doing with this podcast too, right? It's like,
yep.
So.
Yeah, and if they don't, if people in service industries don't like this type of thing, just wait till Amazon gets in the game.
Oh, right.
Amazon started offering local service. You can actually buy a toilet and a plumber to install it.
Yep.
All in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the type of thing that Amazon is a behemoth. They will do something like this.
Speaking of Amazon.
Yeah.
No, sorry, total tangent. But a friend of mine is building a house, really nice house, like 3,800 square feet. He bought every last one of his light fixtures and handles and doorknobs and everything for all of his cabinets and doors and rooms in this 3,800 square foot house. It was literally a semi-truck full of these light fixtures and handles and knobs and
Nice.
hinges and everything.
Wow.
He bought all of it off of
wrap
Amazon with free Prime shipping.
That's awesome.
Oh wow.
They shipped him a semi. They had a semi truck driver
Oh my gosh.
bring him his order.
Oh, that's
Free
awesome.
Prime shipping.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
He should have requested the drone shipping.
$1,000 worth of shipping that he got for free from Amazon Prime.
Wow. That's pretty good. But that's you can't stop progress. Like everyone is trying to stop. You're gonna get run over. You try to stop. And the thing is, like, you know what? And sometimes jobs get eliminated too, right? Like being a logo designer I would not want to be a logo designer because that is farmed out. Like there's logo design shops. There's 99 Designs. Fiverr will design. I mean, for $5. Like
Fiverr sucks so much.
I've gotten some good logos. Like it's not bad. Like it depends. It's a crapshoot, right? It's more of a crapshoot. That's the thing is like I send out
Totally
5
is.
requests when I'm looking for, but 5 times $5, I'm probably gonna get one good logo out of the 5. But the thing is like logo designer might not exist as a good job anymore. Like before, like people used to get paid a lot of money to design logos, right? But now because of 99 Designs and whatnot, maybe you need to be the designer that brands the entire website and like builds the logo and the thing and like what I mean. You have to expand beyond that thing if you want to make a lot of money. Like for you used to be able to be just a programmer, right, and understand one programming language and make a lot of money. And now it's like, well, you probably should have like 3 or 4 languages under your belt, even to just pass the minimum bar, right? Even just to write a web app, you have to know like 4 or 5 languages. Like that's just de facto standard. So like there is no like you cannot. Okay, for example, there used to be jobs for HTML programmers, right?
Yep.
It does not exist anymore. That's a worthless skill set. Like if you are an HTML developer, what are you doing? Like that's not a skill set anymore, right? It's gone. So at least it's a $5 an hour, like $10 an hour skill set.
Yeah,
So,
it's a part of your job as a web developer, but it's only a small part of it.
yeah. But to all people that whine about the 99 Designs contest, I say, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you in that space competing with them? Like, don't this is good. This is actually like making this thing a commoditized thing, so you can set yourself apart. Now you have this way to make a distinction, like. And it's giving people a start. Like if someone wants to waste their time submitting for, and this is not only that, but it exists. This is a method that just exists in a lot of industries. Like take real estate for example, and this to me 99 Designs reminds me of real estate, right? Because if you're a real estate agent, you go out and you show a bunch of people houses, and sometimes they don't buy. Like 1 out of every 4 people or 5 people buys.
Right.
So you waste a lot of time and effort, and you spend money, and you get them, bottled waters that comes out of your pocket, and drive them around, right? Spend all day driving them around, and they don't buy. So, I mean, salespeople have to deal with this.
Yeah, well, and one blessing in disguise about sites like 99 Designs and Elance and whatever is one of the keys to really being able to make more money as a freelancer is to not take the low end stuff that's going to take up all of your time and not give you a lot of payback. And like I'm learning that firsthand now. It's like I can take a bunch of like $1,000 jobs, but then I don't have time to go after the client who's going to pay me $5,000 or $8,000 a month. And so and there's like I'm getting a lot of jobs. Like people are offering me work that I don't want. It's like I don't want to write. I don't want to make $500 writing 3 web pages for you. I just don't.
Right.
It's too much. But there are people who would love to do that.
Right. And that's where you need a referral network.
Yep. Working on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't mean to be like stomping on. I'm sure people will be up in arms, but to me, it's like I don't know.
This is going to be one of the most hotly contested episodes ever.
It will, but I don't know. I mean, I come from this thing that I am a super capitalist and I believe in free market. And to me, like anything to stop a free market artificially like this, that's not like someone taking up a finite resource that belongs to the earth. Like I mean, monopolies on oil. Okay, and sure, right? I'm not like a completely off the wall, like never ever have any kind of interference in free market systems, even if people are completely taking advantage of it. But like minimal interference. And to me, like trying to interfere or whine about like the way markets and economies work is like saying, oh, it's just like crying, this is unfair. And sure, okay, you can cry that, but you can't argue with the laws of economics. Like this is working because this is what people want, and it's obviously profitable enough for some people to make money at it that they keep doing it. Like I don't see exploitation happening.
Yeah.
No one's forcing designers. It's not like these designers are being like, are like in basements somewhere locked up with like you can either submit a design or you can use this saw to cut off one of your arms.
Not quite that extreme.
Yeah.
I think John might have just hatched a pretty good business idea there.
I think so.
There we go. Yeah.
Somebody get on Y Combinator right now.
Yeah. So that's my moral dilemma for the week. Mostly I'm just really stressed trying to get this marketing material done.
Oh well, there's a moment of silence. I forgot to tell you guys something really interesting. So I went to the wrong airport.
What?
My Apple Watch told me to.
So when we left to go to Paris, right? We're taking a flight to Iceland and then from Iceland to Paris, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's out of Orlando. So I figured, hey, there's Orlando International Airport. That's where I'm going. I go there. That's the airport, right? And it turns out there's this other small airport called Stanford International Airport. Also, it's like a podunk airport, but they have like 2 international flights or something like that. And so I'm planning this out like to the detail. I thought I was slick. I rented a car. Remember I told you guys?
Oh yeah.
So I rented a car. I'm like, I'll drop off at the Orlando airport. Blah blah blah. Right? We get in the car. I've got this little inflatable car seat. I'm all set to go. I said, well, let me just leave like 3 hours earlier than to be there 2 hours early, like just in case any crap goes down. So we drive to the airport, to Orlando Airport, and as I'm going through, like driving in, I'm looking at how they have the different like terminals. I'm like, where's Iceland Air on there? It's not on either one of them. So my wife Googles and she says, oh, it says Terminal B. It's like, okay, well maybe it's just small. They don't have enough flights, or they haven't put it up there yet. So we drop off the rental car, right? And then we go, and we didn't have any baggage to check, so we go up to like go through security. And before we went to security, I was like, it seems kind of weird that there's not an Iceland Air. Like I don't even see what gate it's going to be at. Let's just ask someone. And so I asked this guy, and he's like, Iceland Air? Yeah, I don't know. And then I showed him my thing, and as I brought it up on my phone, my ticket, I was like, we're in Orlando International Airport. Like it's MCO is the code, and he's like, yeah, and then I showed him my ticket, and at the same time I looked at it, it said like SNF. He's like, hey, you're in the wrong airport, and I was like, oh, that sucks balls.
Oh, that sucks really bad.
Yeah. So I'm like, crap, I just turned in the rental car. What the hell do I do? So my wife is like, let's get a cab. So, I'm trying to save all this money in the rental car. End up running out there with our bags, hop in the cab and like, can you get us to the Sanford airport? And he's like, it's a 40-minute drive. We're like,
go.
So, my 4-year-old is yelling at him because he's not driving fast enough. He's like, Mommy, he's going really slow. And he's driving really fast, right? And so we get there. And yeah, I ended up leaving so early for the airport that we had the 40 minutes it took, or 30 minutes it took to get there.
You did.
And then we go up to the ticket to you go through security,
right.
And I've got my passbook on my iPhone, and I've got like e-tickets that I've emailed to myself, and so I go to scan it, and the lady at the at the security, she's like, oh, it's not scanning. I'm like, okay, well, Iceland Air gave me this passbook one, and she's like, oh, we don't take those electronic ones here. You have to have paper tickets. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you do. Iceland Air issued me this on my passbook, on my iPhone. Do you see my iPhone? Like, and she didn't even, I don't know if she even knew what an iPhone was. And like, and then I had like email tickets, and she's like, so I had to go back down and get paper tickets, like already like getting close to missing the flight. But yeah, we ended up making it. But yeah,
welcome to 1999.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, my best story about an airport was I had a flight that was leaving pretty early in the morning, and I'm looking at it the night before thinking, okay, great, I don't have to be there until 6:30. So I show up at 6:30 and check in, and the guy at the counter, there's like nobody around. I'm thinking, wow, am I really here that early? And the guy at the counter walks over and gets me checked in. He comments, oh, you're here kind of early for your flight, huh? I was like, yeah. And he gets me, he brings it up on the computer. He's like, you're not early. See that airplane on the tarmac right there?
Oh, no.
That's your flight. It left 5 minutes ago.
Oh.
Jump for it.
So it gets better. It gets better. Not worse, I should say. So I was like, okay, crap, I'm panicking. Get me on the next flight because I got to get to Atlanta for this conference. Well, okay, I got on the next flight, got out there. Turned out to be the absolute worst conference experience ever because I fell flat on my face. But the worst part about all of it is I get to the Atlanta airport to go home, and I go to check in for my flight home, and the guy can't find my flight.
Oh, you did it again?
I did it worse. I booked my return flight for a month later.
Oh no!
So I'm about to break down in tears in front of this guy at the Atlanta airport because if I do not get home by 1 o'clock that afternoon, I'm gonna miss my daughter's 2-year-old birthday party.
Oh my god!
And so I'm freaking out and panicking and like losing it right there in front of the guy, and he's like, okay, just calm down. Let me see what I can do. Okay, it's gonna cost $500 here, and we'll get you on the same flight. Okay, thank you.
Wow.
I'm gonna burn down the building.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, so that was by far my worst experience with an airport. That was awful.
So we've been on
Who's
tangents,
next?
sort of,
Yeah,
for
we're tangent.
like an hour.
Yeah,
It's
well, I
got some
mean,
real
my
business stuff.
stuff with the design and stuff.
Oh
is
yeah,
really
that's
good,
true.
but- All right, Chuck, how's your life? Hopefully not as bad.
So I got back from Atlanta yesterday. I did some training for CareerBuilder.com.
Nice.
They all seem to really like it. I'm going to send a survey over there, and their developers can fill it out and give me information on how it went. But last Friday, after we got off the call, I sat down and tried to record videos, and
Oh no.
I've never had a panic attack. I can still say that, but I could not get myself to do anything. I was just completely stressed out, and so I just took off for the afternoon, and I've kind of recharged a little bit because when I was in Atlanta, if I wasn't training, I was essentially just, laying in the bed in my hotel room. So I'm feeling a little bit better now, but I'm seriously thinking about planning like a personal retreat for a few days after the 4th of July, just to completely recharge the batteries and figure out what I want to do. And I think that's part of it, is that I have so many things that I'm trying to get done.
Yeah.
And I just need to focus and just be like, okay, these are the things that I'm going to continue to do as far as like my personal life goes, and I've got plenty of those. But yeah, just focus on the business and just be like, all right, this is the thing, or these are the things that I am not going to let slide.
I saw this
Right.
this video where this guy hired this random person off of Craigslist, and he went to Starbucks to work on his computer, and whenever he stopped working, she slapped him in the face. You could do that to get the videos done.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think it's a good idea to take it. It sounds like you're kind of hitting the burnout.
Yeah, and I do the same thing pretty regularly, honestly. It happens more often than it should, probably. But I did the exact same thing with Watch Me Code videos. Last week, I sat down to record on Friday and just couldn't do it. Couldn't get anything out. Same reason as Chuck, just incredibly stressed and overwhelmed, and took the rest of the day off, even though I knew that I did not have a video recorded for this week. So I was like, screw it, I got to take this day off. So then Monday rolls around, and I recorded 2 episodes, and they turned out pretty well, except I recorded the first one with the wrong microphone the first time.
Oh no.
So I had my headset mic that you see up here.
Yeah.
I stick it above my headphones when I'm using the good mic.
Yeah, I've done
So it was recording from this.
Yeah. Live from the top of Derek's head.
Exactly. So it was like this horrible sound quality from really far away that you can barely hear, and it was awful. So I had to re-record that episode. Fortunately, it was a short episode. It was like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
But then I got that one done and got a second episode done and sent them off to my editor, and he's like, yeah, no problem, I'll get them done in time. And he did. So I had my episode out on time anyways because my editor is awesome.
Yeah, I've got a whole list of things that I do to motivate myself, and I was just so burned out that nothing was working. I mean, I just could not find it in me to record a 5-minute video.
Totally understand, man. It's happened to me a number of times.
That's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur, honestly. It's just so
Yeah.
much easier when someone's cracking the whip, but when you have to crack the whip on yourself, it's like
Yeah.
I find it easy to, like, the easiest thing to do is to switch between that, because especially with your, I mean, we talked about this when Derek was kind of having a similar, like, switching between the CEO and worker mode, and like when you're in, like, plan out the week ahead of time. When you're in worker mode, you don't worry about the big picture, you don't worry about all the you have to do and which priorities, like, you just know that this day I'm working on this thing, and then you can go back to CEO mode like later when you're ready, plan it out, and then you can just, like, look at the bigger picture. But it's hard because I think, like, for me personally, when I get overwhelmed like that, it's because I'm switching, because I'm like, well, but I need to get all this other stuff done, and I don't have a clear picture of what I'm doing. Like, when I can sit down, I do really well when it's like, write a book. or when it's like record this Pluralsight course, because
Right.
it keeps me from, like, it's one thing I'm doing continuously, and it keeps me from being distracted by all this other stuff and worrying and fretting about what am I not doing, what I should be doing, and so. But yeah, sucks. But yeah, take the retreat, I think, and set your priorities.
Yeah,
Oh.
the issue is that, so I was thinking, oh well, I'll just wait until after I do the training, but the problem is that
Training takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
oh man. Yeah, that was the other thing, is like I'm a total introvert. Like being around the folks that I was doing the training for, my energy level kept going up while I was there, but as soon as I got back to the hotel, I was totally worn out.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I just laid around. I watched a handful of episodes of Farscape because that's what I'm watching these days, and then I just crash. It was like 7 at night, which means it was like 5 at night Utah time, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna rest for a half hour, and then I would, I'd wake up the next morning. That was my first night. The second night, I actually wound up having dinner with my aunt and uncle and a few of my cousins. But yeah, then I went back to the hotel, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of early. I'm just gonna hang out, and I didn't even make it through one episode of Farscape before I'm just like,
Yeah.
at some point I got up and changed into pajamas, but I don't even remember that.
That's funny. That's where I start thinking about that fantasy of it's almost like you took the blue pill, right? Or the red pill? Which one is it?
Whichever one.
All right, whichever pill that makes you conscious of life, like, and it's like I'm like, remember when I was oblivious? Remember when, like, I used to just go to work, like I worked for someone else and just did my work, and then I came home and then I watched TV, or I played a computer game or something, and then I just showed up the next morning and did the same thing. And I know it's like a stupid fantasy because I wouldn't want that life. But because it's like in the Matrix where he like tastes a steak and he's like, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't go back now. You've woken up. You've taken the blue pill. Like, you're an entrepreneur. So if you did get a corporate job and like worked, you couldn't ever, like, you're still gonna feel guilty that you're not doing enough with your time. Like, now that you've taken this blue pill, like, you're just like, you have to like learn to deal with this new problem of feeling guilty all the time and like burn. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like you can't go back to that other life of being ignorant. Even though now you could look on it and say, whoa, all these people how do they just watch TV? I mean, maybe I'm the only one, but this is this frequently goes through my head. I'm like, remember when life was so simple? It's almost like a temptation, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I went back to that life for a year when I worked at Telerik. I was like, you know what? That sounds really nice. And I went back to it and realized I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved working for Telerik, as I've always said. It really was a great company and a phenomenal job. I don't understand how people can work for someone else anymore. I really don't. Like, I see people go into these corporate jobs, like with my client, this giant healthcare network. I see the people showing up every day, same thing over and over again, doing this stuff, and I'm like, how are you not going insane? How do you live this corporate life the way the rules, the structure, the absurdity of all of it? How? I can't.
Yeah.
It's bad enough having to put on nice clothing just to go to the office 2 days a week. How do you deal with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a cure when I went to the training. It was like, checked in and get my badge. I'm like, yeah, I get to leave though.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so my issue is that I could really use the retreat now, but this week, or this coming week, my wife's best friend's coming into town, and so I really can't go. The week after that, I'm doing Cub Scout day camp. And so I can't go that week. The next week is Ruby Remote Conf. The next week is the 4th of July. So it'll probably be right in there, sometime right before I wind up going to Podcast Movement.
Yeah, you might need to cut some of your stuff and just, like, one thing that helps too is just to think about, like, look at how far you've come. Like, some of the stuff that you're doing might not be as effective, so, like, there's no shame in, like, dropping some stuff and, like, I don't know. It's
I'm curious.
a mental place.
What's going through your head? Like, when you're sitting there last Friday, you're sitting there. Like, what's spinning through your head? Like, what's really stressing you out?
Yeah, well, part of it was just, I mean, I knew what I was going to do because I had already scripted out the video. But the thing is that you're just sitting at my computer, it's like you've got this going on and this other thing and this other thing, and so it was just
Can't stop.
I have a whole bunch of things to worry about, even though I know I'm sitting down just to do the one thing, and I should be able to just say, but none of that's important for the next hour, and I couldn't get there. I couldn't get there at all.
Yep.
And so
I've had that exact same experience recording, having it scripted out, and I mean there were a few times where I spent an hour just sitting there trying not to punch a hole in my monitor.
Yep.
Before I realized, you know what, I just need to go do something else.
Here's a good test. Here's a good test. If you had a personal assistant, right, like movie stars have, it's like, hey Chuck, you gotta get in the limousine because you gotta go on stage in 5 minutes, and they told you where you needed to be, when you needed to be, and what you needed to do. Like okay, Chuck, 30 minutes, you need to record this. And then don't worry, you don't have to worry about anything else. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Now you've got this meeting. Okay, let's go. Get in the limousine, right? Would that make you feel better?
Probably.
So
at least when I'm stressed out, it would.
Because that's the impression I'm getting is it's like you just because you're thinking about these other things you need to do, but like maybe just envisioning that or figuring out some way to like build that for yourself. Like that's for me that the Kanban, like getting the board and knowing what the tasks were and what time and time boxing those helped me because I envisioned it as that as like if I had my own assistant and they were telling me what to do, where I need to be, because I get stressed out just like what you described as the same type of thing. It's like, well, but I've got all this other stuff I need to be doing. Like there's too much stuff, and I can't just focus on the task at hand. But I've almost thought like if I had an assistant that's just telling me, but then I realized, well, that's kind of silly because I can just plan my day and know what I'm going to do, and then just try, think that way. But for whatever reason, I just couldn't get around it. I just couldn't get into the mental space to just
You probably need a certain amount of reserve to make, like if you're going to set up an illusion for yourself like that, you need a certain amount of reserve to actually pull it off.
I don't know. I mean, I can definitely try that. The thing is that I mean, if I don't have to make the decision, if I can delegate that, it's easier for me to envision delegating that to a person. But at the same time, I like the freedom, and so there's a part of me that resists it. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely try, seeing how, because a lot of the things that I do when I'm mildly burned out to keep going are tricks like that, where I visualize it in a different way, and then,
Yeah.
Do you find that do you have trouble with stuff like chat and people pinging you on Skype and like that kind of thing?
No, I just ignore that stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's
if it's not, if I'm not there, I just ignore it.
That's what I find. The thing that sends me into a tailspin faster than anything is like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm getting an email. I get an email, and then somebody's pinging me on Slack, and somebody's pinging me on Skype. Like that that right there will send me into a tailspin for an hour or 2 hours easily. So my solution is to never sign into any chat programs.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I get emails like Slack. I get emails if somebody, IMs me. So, and I'll log in and answer.
Yeah, the one thing I would really like to do for myself is just I've been started trying to do it before I left. Now it's hard because I'm not really playing my days. But I started implementing because I kept on hearing about buffer time, not Buffer the app, but. And so, like, I started planning way less every day than what I could get done, and just adding that buffer time. And then that was working pretty well. I didn't get enough time to test it, but I think that's one of the keys is, like, just to get your big rocks done, right? Work on the big rocks, and then have so much buffer time that, like, you end up getting done what you need to get done, and then you're not stressed out about it. But yeah, this is like the biggest struggle, though. I think honestly, the entrepreneurial struggle is that whole switch between it's like you can do the work like in people in general, right? It's easy. Like I could be the boss and tell people what to do. That's easy, right? I could come up with a plan and this is what we need to do, boys, and here's how we do it, and here we go, right? And I'll give you the orders and you just follow them, and there's the plan. Let's do it. Or I could be the person taking the orders and be like, okay, John, go and do this, break this brick and whatever, and I can do all that. But when I have to do both roles, that's where it's like
Yep.
it's stressful and painful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just taking the time to relax when I wasn't doing the training, I think really helped, and the fact that it was a complete change of pace.
Yeah.
For 4 days also helped, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm just gonna have to do the periodic. Okay, I'm disappearing, and I looked at my wife on Friday, and she's just like, just take off for the weekend, and I was like, well, I kind of want to. I don't want to like have it majorly structured, but I kind of want to know what I want to accomplish when I go have a retreat, so it's not just, okay, I'm just going to go, drool into my pillow for 3 days.
Go back and listen to the episode where we had Rob Walling on, because he talks about doing that week-long retreat, and he gives some pretty good advice for doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've talked to him a couple of times about this, and I have a pretty good idea of what what kind of structure I need for it as far as, planning for it. But I don't feel like I can take full advantage of it unless I'm going, okay, this, I can screw around as much as I want on my own retreat, but I have to accomplish these things. I have to get the focus. I have to, I have to figure out these kinds of things. So.
I'm pretty sure John has moved to a submarine now because
It's dark.
it's just red. It's just like this faint red glow.
I guess I can open the window now.
Yeah, it's evening over there, so.
And let there be light.
Here we go.
I'm trying to set the
Oh
frame.
gosh, John, I have
There you go.
that red seared into my retinas. I
There you go.
when I look away from my computer, I had to make the window smaller so that it was like not this huge bright spot in the middle.
Yeah.
Nice.
But anyway, so I'm also trying to figure out how to convince my wife to let me pay somebody to mow my freaking lawn.
But you definitely got to do that. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh, do it.
That is.
Yes. Dude, do
I
not
have-
mow your lawn.
I am irrationally proud of the fact, like, it gives me more pride to watch someone do that than it did for me to actually do it. It's very strange, but
I so don't want to worry about it. It's just, and the way I was last weekend, I mean, it was just one extra thing.
yeah.
Dude, okay, you don't have a lawnmower, so get a lawnmower. I mean,
have a
person.
lawnmower.
No, someone who mows your lawn, like a
Oh.
lawn mower.
Lawnmower job
service.
description, not lawnmower machine.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
You have a VA from the Philippines. You need to have someone who mows your lawn. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, do you have a maid service?
No.
Okay. Here. Oh, look at this.
that is the fight. You are gonna.
This is
I brought this up
beautiful.
a couple of times, and oh my gosh, the fight.
No, this is beautiful. Look, okay, here's what you do. All right, this is the plan. All right, you
I
have
get
your
to
wife.
tell you how my wife is irrational now. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I know. Women. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Oh gosh. We've already offended designers. Go for it, John.
Okay, so your wife goes out to get her nails done. Tell her, I'll watch the kids or whatever, or take her to the park. Let her get her nails done, whatever, or go to spa, something like that. Even if she doesn't, just tell her, yeah, go ahead. And then you call up the maid service and you have them do a deep, full clean, and you pay for it, right? And when she's gone, they do this. She's like, man, Chuck, I didn't know you could clean this well. I know you can clean. This is how the heck did you get to? I can't even clean this well, right? There you go.
Even uncoagulated the soap.
Yeah, and she'll be addicted to it. Well, I mean, you really should do it because it's just so. It's so.
I have
much better.
wanted to do it just to look. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, she'll still pre-clean before the maids come, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, totally. You have to.
There's no way around that. I would just leave my oh, look at that. There's my underwear all over the place.
No. I used to do that. We have a maid come in. I used to just say, she's gonna clean it up, and if you want your house to actually be clean, not just stuff put away the stuff first. Otherwise, she will never. Whoever does this will never have time to actually clean. They will just spend the entire time putting stuff away.
I guess that's true. I mean, you can just pay them more, but I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I'm so doing this.
Yeah, totally. And then the lawn mowing thing will be no problem because when she sees the value of the I mean, and then you're getting two things. She's getting the house. She'll have more time.
Do the exact same thing with lawn mowing. Call up a lawn mowing service and schedule on this day at this time you're going to come mow my lawn, and then plan something with your family while the lawnmower is there. Take them away from your house an hour beforehand, bring them back 2 hours later, 2 hours after the lawnmower says they'll be done, and show your wife how immaculate the lawn looks and how the trees have been trimmed and how you had such a great time with your family while that was happening.
It's not quite as magical of an experience, though. Like going home and like the lawn is.
So here's the deal, though.
It's for my wife.
Well,
my wife comes like, oh, the lawn's done.
She's going to be out of town in a couple of weeks.
There you go.
That I have Ruby remote cough. She's driving my sister to Denver for 2 or 3 days, and I keep telling her, I'm like, just take an extra day. I mean, just get a hotel room. Yeah. I mean, if you want to sleep. If you want to, she's pregnant, so I don't know if she can or wants to get her nails done or whatever.
Right.
I don't know how all the chemical whatever.
Chemicals.
Anyway, but it's like go get a massage, whatever. Just take a day, just to have a day off, because I know that she could use one too.
Right.
And I proposed that to her, and she totally was. She's seriously thinking about it.
Yeah.
I said I will get you a hotel room. So, but so while she's gone, she could come back and the lawn's mowed and the house is clean, because they can come and clean it because she's going to make arrangements for the kids to be somewhere else while I'm doing the conference. And so, it's like I could be here and they can clean the rest of the house.
Right.
Yeah. They just like literally you just sit there and you
just don't bother me.
You just get up from your seat and they'll just clean right under you, right? And then
I'll let you in when I'm done, right?
But, No, you just switch rooms of the house. That's what I do. But,
usually what I do is go work in a cafe when our cleaner comes over.
It just my wife stays home, right? Doesn't have an outside, and we have maid service, and it's just well worth it because she doesn't have to spend the little bit of downtime that she has cleaning the house. And once you've stopped cleaning toilets, you never want to clean a toilet again. Not that I would know.
I still clean toilets, and I don't want to ever clean one again.
There you go. So. Yeah. I mean, I would, if it were up to me. The one thing I can't get is to get the laundry done because I've never run a load of laundry in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom did my laundry, and then when I became an adult, when I became an adult, I took it to a fluff and fold and dropped it off. Because it's just not something like I don't want to do that. Like I'll just pay someone to do that, like $1 a pound for laundry, like cheap. Like so, but I'm trying to convince my wife to
I worked for
do her own laundry
service when I was in high school. It's amazing what people do to their clothes. Anyway, but so that's the thing is I get but then I have to go scrub everything down before the maid shows up, and then it's just not worth it. And I think if
be worth it,
a couple of times she could just we're gonna clean things up so there's no clutter for them to deal with and whatever, and then they can just come in and scrub what they need to scrub.
Yep.
And I can have my kids help me, do most of the general pickup and cleaning. So.
Yeah. Now the one I wanted to see, I had Dan Martell. I did like an interview with him for Simple Programmer. Now it's getting too bright. And he said that he's got his maid, like he didn't use a maid service. He just hired someone. I don't know how but he's got her when she comes over. She restocks stuff in his cabinet in his house, like toilet paper or food essentially. She goes shopping for him essentially and brings it. That's pretty awesome. That's the level I'd like to hit next, is because that's then you don't have to waste time going to the grocery store. But you absolutely got to get the maid service and the lawn mowing. That's just like at the stage you're at, like it's critical.
Well, the thing is it's like, what, a couple $100 a month for all of it?
Yeah, I pay $250 a month for my lawn care, which is kind of expensive, but
I think I'm paying around $200 a month for my lawn care right now.
I pay $70
Right.
a month.
Well, mine
Now,
mine
now
includes
the guy who bought my sprinkler.
mine includes restoring the destroyed lawn that I have.
Oh,
So
okay.
my lawn is like 50% weeds and it has a whole bunch of bare patches in it. So I'm paying a lot of
Yeah, that's
money,
what I
but
need.
it's so that they will fix my lawn.
Yep.
Nice. The other thing
Lawn
we
sucks.
started doing recently is our grocery store has like they shop for you.
Nice.
So we just drive up and we're still driving to the store. It's like 15 minutes away or like 12 minutes away. But my wife just throws the kids in the car, drives up. They throw the groceries in the back. She brings them home.
Yep.
And it's actually a little break for her because they're not running around the house. At least they're all contained.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So if there's anything like that, it's like $5 seriously. And
There
we
was
pay
a
little more.
store here that used to do it, but not anymore. But I would totally do that too. I would totally pay to send somebody a shopping list and have it just show up at my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, the maid in the lawn is going to make a big impact on your life.
Huge.
Yeah.
You'll be less stressed too, because like your wife is going to be so happy when she doesn't have to do that stuff every single week. Like,
Yeah.
it's going
Well,
to
and
be like,
that's the thing, right? Is that, I mean, any of the little things that I can just take off my list.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my stress level goes down about all that stuff, and
Yeah. Yeah, when I start feeling the way that you're feeling, for me, the thing that really fixes it is dropping things.
yeah.
Just like
The
deciding
problem
I'm
is
not going
that-
to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with that is that I have a lot of little things, that I do once a month or something, and
Right.
Right.
I don't always feel like I can just drop them. So, yeah. But yeah, I can totally see that. And I've been telling people no a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also good.
But anyway, the other thing is that I got a little bit discouraged, right before I got, hit the burnout wall, and I don't remember who I was listening to, but somebody pointed out that, when you're getting to that point, a lot of people quit at that point, and that's usually the inflection point right before things really go. And, so you have to evaluate and make sure that, there aren't other things going on there. And yeah, that's exactly where I am. I'm at that inflection point where things are really starting to take off.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. That's one of my chapters in soft skills. I've got a diagram of that actually, of that inflection point in the wall, and it's an unpopular thing, but it's true. Usually you hit it right before you have a major breakthrough, and most people don't get through it. So if you can get through it, that's why remind yourself of how far you've come and all the things you've accomplished and also this. I mean, you can quit at any time. Not literally quit, but like you can drop things at any time. So you might as well keep on going while you can. Let's see how far you can go.
Right.
But,
Yep. But yeah, I'm gonna make it. I don't have any doubt about that. It's just, yeah, especially last week, it was just, oh my gosh, everything.
Yep.
I mean, I have pretty much just suspended all work and thought about DevBox Club until I just feel like I can tackle another major thing.
Right.
And I have people emailing me and going, hey, can you do this for me? And I'm like, no.
No.
So yeah, so that's kind of the plan. So I might disappear for a week in July. But yeah. Anyway, that's my deal.
all right,
Speaking of-
Josh. I was just going to mention about the retreat real quick. Do we have are we taking sales, or do we have?
Oh, crap. Well, that's the other thing that I didn't get done this week because I'm stressed about all this marketing. So, no. I'll get it done this week, though.
Okay.
Thanks, head and shame.
Yes, hangy head and shame.
Well, I had this was an interesting week. It was kind of rocky. It was definitely rockier than last week. And the biggest Well, I think I've got a little bit too much going on here right now. Like I need to get. I've got a project for my mentor that I'm really just. I said yes, so I'm going to finish it, but I'm just really not liking it at all. It's like I'm writing basically a book for him, it's going to be like a 50 to 60 page book that he's going to sell for like $7 kind of thing. And so he had his VA do a bunch of research for me and compile stuff, and I'm kind of it's basically just grunt work of plowing through it and making it English, sound like string sentences together as fast as possible. And I'm just kind of finding it demoralizing and dehumanizing. So I'm not doing this anymore. I've learned that I don't want to write lead magnet books or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it up. But I've got probably like 5. I've been task switching between like maybe 5 or 6 different projects, and it's just a little bit too much. So I'm gonna finish that up and then try to not take on. I need to start dropping. I'm realizing that like the $2,000 projects for me are probably not going to be worth my time unless I have nothing else going on,
Yep.
which probably won't happen very often.
That's a good place to be, though, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like, and now I'm looking at like $2,000, and unless it's like, even if it's $2,000 just to write a single sales page, that's probably not enough. Because just because. So one thing my biggest takeaway from the week has been, I need to get everything that I write for clients. I need to build in time to get it reviewed and critiqued by other copywriters. So, because that's how I'm gonna that's how I'm gonna grow, and B, that's how I'm just gonna it makes it so much better. I joined this private forum, this private copywriting forum, and it's been amazing. Like it's been as good as this group has for me. Like just in terms of the people that I'm meeting, and I posted a couple things up there for critiques, and they just tore into it.
Nice.
And and it's been great because I have a really hard time. Like, I'm a good enough writer that when I write something, usually it's very hard for me to step back and think, how could I write this better?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, it's there. It's not, that's like what I have in me, And so to get the critique, then I can come back and like rewrite it. And it's still the same basic structure, but I can see the places I need to tighten it down and everything. I think eventually I'll get to the point where I can do that for myself more. But right now, like with copywriting, it's different than just normal writing, because normally when you're writing, you're just trying to think about like, how do I say this well, and how do I make this entertaining to read and that sort of thing. And with copywriting, there's that, but then there's all these other layers of how you have to structure it and move people through, and things you don't want to say, things you want to avoid saying, and that kind of stuff. So getting the outside input has been huge this week, and I need to leave like at least 3 to 5 days, I think, with every project for that kind of input, because it takes me, it took me. I have this one sales page that I'm working on right now for the stinky little $7 product, and I wrote it, and I really wasn't happy. I felt like the headline was really weak, and I really didn't like the introduction, and that's kind of like the most important stuff. If you screw that up, you're toast. So I posted it up on the forum and asked for some help, and they ripped into it, and I've rewritten it now like 3 times, and it's way better. So I need to, but it's taken me like working on it like over 3 days to make that happen. So I can't have $2,000. I can't have like 5 $2,000 projects in 1 month and give it that kind of attention. It's just not going to work.
Right.
Well, if you're doing other stuff, right? Because 5 $2,000 projects times 3 days is 15 days out of 20 working days.
Yeah, exactly, right, and that's just for rewrites.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to discourage you from turning down like lower cost projects, but I wouldn't turn down $2,000 projects because of that reason solely. Like, you know what I mean? Don't. But I'm just just caution to like don't stop yourself from getting the work that you might end up needing
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, so right now I have a client that is paying me $1,500 a month. We're doing like a 3-month deal, and I'm putting in almost as much. I mean, I'm putting in probably 5 to 10 hours a week on that. And then meanwhile, I've got my other client who is already paying me $5,000 a month. He wants to bring me on now to work on his negotiation course,
Yeah.
which could be like another $3,000 a month right there. I mean, so I'm already at the point now where the smaller stuff is crowding out the bigger stuff.
Well, hold on,
Um,
hold on. Just real quick though, because
yeah.
I could be wrong, but you just said that the $1,500 a month is 5 to 10 hours a week.
Yeah, probably more, honestly.
So
I need to go back and look at my Pomodoros.
let's say it's 10 hours a week.
Yeah,
10 hours times 4 weeks is 40 hours.
right.
So that's 1 week. That's 5 days to make $1,500. If
Mhm.
you can make $2,000 in 3 days.
Oh no, well no, I'm not saying. So the 3 days that I was saying, that was just for rewrites.
Oh, just for the rewrites. But then
Yeah,
1 day
yeah.
to do the work, and then or 2 days to do the work, and
No, I mean like when I take on a new client, I have to do. There's a ton of spin up. I have to learn their
yeah,
market. I have to study their product. I have to interview them. I mean, there's a lot of overhead there with a new client. So if I'm taking on the $2,000 projects, I'm having to do all that over and over again.
okay. I
It's
mean,
kind of,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, like a $2,000 project, like if it was like a 4 emails, I probably spent. So I have another story about a $2,000 project that is kind of the launch I'm doing this week with a guy. I've probably spent, at least 40 hours working on that, at least over the last couple of. And I should have, and I didn't do the rewrites that I should have had done. I didn't get the critiques and get the rewrites and everything. So probably could have been another 20 hours easily.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not being cavalier about it, but it's just like, I've got one client now who is probably going to be paying me about $8,000 a month pretty soon, but I can't take on his other product until I drop something else. Like I'm just kind of
Oh,
maxed
I
out.
see.
And
That makes sense.
the ebook project is eating a lot of time too. I'm kind of torn. Like with my mentor, I don't want to. I'd like to continue working with him because he's he referred this big client to me. I wouldn't even have this client if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
But I also can't like burn too much of my time doing cheap work for him.
Yeah.
So I'll probably make for this ebook project. I'll probably make about 20 or somewhere between $20 and $50 an hour, which is not awful, but it's a lot of time.
And how much of it, I mean, the other thing to consider too is I'd say is like the more clients that you have, like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket for sure,
No.
because
Yeah,
if one of
that's
those, if
true.
you put everything into like $5,000 to $8,000 client and then that dries up, you'll
Yeah.
be hurting real bad, real
Mhm.
quick.
Well,
Like that's gonna be
yeah. I mean, I think the worst case scenario would be that would be true if I had no leads coming in.
right. But if you refuse leads, you'll end up like. Well, I guess what I'm saying, the other piece of it is like some of these couple like cheaper projects might be. They might pay less hourly, like technically, but you will get faster at them, especially the more that you do, and then they may generate more leads for you. So that might
Well,
that's the other
if
thing to
I have
consider by
if I can
referral.
put the time in to do a good job, that's the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
Because with what I'm doing, this is not subjective stuff. Like it's objective. Like this week I'm working with a client, my professional speaking client, and he's doing a product launch, and it's not going all that well. Well, guess what? I'm not going to get a testimonial from him. I don't have results that I can brag about. I don't have,
yeah.
So I need to be able to. I can't keep taking on small clients and cranking work out for them. What I need is big wins, not money.
Well, but some of them may actually turn into big wins too, right? Because some of these small clients, you don't know that these clients aren't going to become bigger clients. Like, I mean, you can kind of assess them ahead
Yeah.
of time, but you don't know what I guess I don't know, and I'm just talking from my non-experience in in being a freelance copywriter. But I would say you don't know which plants you water are going to grow. Like,
No,
so
that's
you got to
true.
have a kind of an even mix. Like, I just wouldn't want to see you. Like, I've seen so many people like have one big client and then they
Yeah,
end
no,
up
I
getting
don't want to.
screwed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to get there, but I've got to. Um, yeah, I just have to. I'm having to start saying no a lot now.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting people contacting me. I think I've gotten 2 contacts today already from people wanting me to do stuff, and it's
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it's like I just can't. um, so but any so the product launch I mentioned. So this was basically the client is he's a public speaking coach, and he's launching a $1,200 package. Derek, does this sound familiar?
Yeah.
He's launching a $1,200 master's level package.
Yep.
He's been selling up until now I think it was like a $150, $300, and $600 version of his course, and everybody was buying the upper tier. So he decided to drop the lower tiers and just sell the top tier, and then add another tier on top of that at like $1,400 normally, and on sale for $1,200. So he wanted me to write 4 emails leading up to the launch, and then he was going to kind of take it from there. So I realized, in hindsight, I went into this, and he's a great guy, and I like him, and he's got a great product, and I did a bad job of getting all the information I needed up front, and I ended up being the frog in the proverbial frog in the pot, where I learned information as I went that should have thrown up red flags, but I wasn't. They weren't. They didn't. I didn't get all that up front, so it was kind of like, okay, well, I just kind of adapted as I went. Like, the biggest what I realized is that late in the process is that he's using a webinar as his lead magnet. So he's running Facebook ads through signing people up for a webinar, and then he pitches his product on the webinar and the follow-up emails. Well, so every single person on his list has, within the last 6 weeks, been offered a discount on his $600 course, and a whole bunch of them have already bought. Like, I think he's got like 130 students or something.
Yeah.
So basically, I looked at the numbers, and I actually went to the 80-20 curve calculator, and I looked at the numbers, and I was like, after the launch, like, we did the launch, and he sold just a few, like a handful of copies on the first day, and that was like, we were hoping that was going to be like the big day. And then I went to that 80-20 curve calculator, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's maybe, on his entire list of like 4,600 people, there's maybe like 40 to 60 who would actually be candidates to buy this product.
Yeah.
And he actually had already offered the people who had already bought the 600, he offered to upgrade them the week before. So, like, all of his customers had already been offered the chance to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's nobody left.
Yeah.
There's literally no customers left for this upper level product. And I realized that I didn't realize that until, like, basically after we launched. And so he's gotten a few sales out of it, and he's definitely at least gotten the money back he paid me, and he'll make a profit off of it too. But yeah, that was just pretty disappointing, and I felt pretty crappy about that. I think it was like yesterday. It was Wednesday and Thursday that we were kind of talking through it. So, and then I also posted the emails. So I posted on this forum, and I was like, did I like really screw this up, or like, I basically gave them all the details, and they were like, well, they ripped my emails apart, which was great, and gave me a whole bunch of pointers. But they were like, basically, yeah, we think you'd be lucky to sell about 10 copies of this course, or 10 seats in this course at this point. given all that info. So Derek, like, these are people that are specifically interested in one topic. So this would be like if you had a RabbitMQ list, an entire list of 5,000 people about RabbitMQ. He's got a whole list of people who want to be professional speakers, and probably only going to sell about 8 to 10 seats.
Right.
So, yeah. So that was just kind of demoralizing.
In the launch, right? 8 to 10
Yeah.
seats at $1,200.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. With the 80-20 curve, right? That should be.
So
right, anyway, even if the list was fresh, right? What are you going to sell? 15?
Well, so the estimate is up to 60. That you could get up to 60 people in that 4,600 have enough interest that they would pay $1,200 for something. Maybe not this product,
Right.
but they have $1,200 worth of interest and they have the money to spend. So like, and then you figure, okay, well, our email open rate, because this is cold traffic, is like less than 25%. Well, right there, I can't even reach 75% of the list.
Wait a minute. Cold Traffic bought this for, like, he's 8 seats?
What's
From
that?
Cold Traffic
so far, I
bought a
think it's like
$1,200
3 or
product?
4. So far, it's 3 or 4. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I thought this was a warm list.
Well, no. So yeah, he basically he's driving Facebook ads through a webinar email sequence, and then they get the offer to buy the course at a discount, and then they haven't heard from him in 6 weeks, and then he emails them my 4 emails, and then the buy now sequence.
I'm surprised that. I mean, that to me, honestly, that's a good outcome. 3 to 4, I think, for that. That doesn't seem like. I mean, I'm surprised that even sold that many.
This is what I should have said 4 to 6 weeks ago when I first was talking to him. I should have gotten all this information, and then I would have said the same thing. Yeah, I would have been like, don't do this right now. Spend some time with these people. Like, he hasn't really been sending out. He's just new to this, like, to the email side of things, and so he hasn't been sending out a lot of content. He really hasn't been doing much. I mean, he hasn't done anything with them.
Yeah.
So
no way. They're just totally cold. I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, converting any of them is amazing.
Yeah.
I think at that price point, like, even. I mean, in my frame of reference is How to Market Yourself course, $300. 2 software developers, right, who have the money, and it's not even that expensive. Like, my cold conversions are like 0.01%.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess the webinar warms them up a little bit more. But
everybody who goes through the webinar, like the people who go through the webinar buy if they're going to buy, like the webinar shakes out. Yeah, the webinar shakes out. The webinar shakes out the 1 to 2%. Like 1 to 2% of his list is legitimately a candidate for this product, and the webinar shakes most of those people out.
Oh, I see.
And what I've been explaining to him is, like, he's like, well, I've got, like, last night I did a webinar with like 150 people and I sold 10 seats, and then we've done this email thing and we've sent out 4,600 emails and we've sold 3. And I'm like, well, but like it's not a 1-to-1. Like you're sending out, basically you're only talking to like 1,000 of those people, really, if that.
Right.
And the ones who are already interested have already been through the whole process and they've bought.
And you're showing up in their inbox. They're not sitting in front watching a video for half an hour, which is, I mean, someone's scanning it on their iPhone while they're standing in line at the grocery store and then saying, "Oh, I should remember to buy that course for $1,200 when I get home, maybe."
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a big disconnect. So and these are people that have already gone through the webinar and didn't buy. That was
basically. Yeah, I've got. So I realized. I screwed up in terms of.
It's a re-engagement sequence. Is almost
basically,
it's like a second offer.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like decent for that many, like, to get a 0.01%. That's exactly what you got, right? 0.01 so far on our re-engagement sequence, like on a second chance, like for the full price for $1,200. That's pretty. That's good. I don't think that's bad. You know what I would do if I were you? You need to tell him what he needs to do next, which is to do, instead of don't hear from me for 6 weeks and then here we go, is
Right.
you could build him emails that lead up to that point, like a couple of months worth of emails, and then he does that. And that would give you another sale to do to him. That's honestly going to help him. But
we're still we're talking, like I'm not sure if he's gonna want to work with me after this. I'm hoping he will. But we're already talking. We are talking about, like, you know, what would I recommend that he build here to make this work. And he really needs some. What he needs is some lower dollar offers. Like, I think not having a $300 version of this course is fine, but he definitely needs some, like, really low end stuff that he can promote, and he can recoup most of his Facebook ad costs with, like, a low $7 tripwire type product.
And he paid you to write these 4 emails, right? Specifically.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
So it's not really your fault, but I mean, obviously, I wouldn't tell him that so much as I might point the direction of the conversation to. Let's say that the most phenomenal copywriter in the world, let's say we resurrected Gary Halpern from the dead, and he wrote these emails. What do you think the result would be? Like, to somehow frame that question, because I think the answer would be 6 sales, 7. Like, I mean, I don't think he's going to come up and say, 20 or 30, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's going to be like, it's like you said, like that thing that you always say where it's like, what's it? It's like 40% the offer, 40%.
The list was just toast. For this offer, the list was just toast.
So I mean, he hired you to write the emails. You might not have been the best copywriter in the world, but if the best copywriter in the world did write those, how much better would it have done? You know what I mean? He probably got his 80% efficiency for what he paid. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
He probably got a really good value.
Yeah.
So I think if you can get him to answer that question of saying, suppose that you had, I don't know how you would phrase it, but basically to get him to go down that line of reasoning, and then I think that kind of makes it clear, because trying to defend yourself in the situation is going to, or blame it on the system. I think the clearest way to get to it is just to say, hey, if the best copywriter in the world wrote these, what honestly would you expect? Based on what you know about this.
Yeah, I actually asked the forum, like, what should I say to this client? Because what I didn't want to say is, like, I didn't want to, like, point a finger and say, well, your list and blah 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 blah. So basically, what I did was I went back to him and I said, he told me, I asked him how things were going. He said not great, honestly, and told me kind of where things were. And I went back to him and I was like, well, look, here's a couple things I should have done that I didn't. And I actually put it on me that I should have qualified. I should have talked him through the process better and and found out that he'd already done all this with this list, gotten a better picture of where things were before we even got into this. Because if I'd known, I would have just said, "Don't do this right now."
Yeah.
I think that's where I screwed up. I think the emails that I wrote were pretty good, and they did the job. And he's got some sales out of this, and but I think I should have just waved him off of the whole thing way before we got here. So lesson learned. So that was kind of like, I was a little down yesterday about that, but I'm kind of bouncing back. Stuff's just gonna happen, like I'm gonna have to learn to keep, because it's hard. This is like, copywriting is not for me. Like, programming was nice because the one thing that was good about it was I could compartmentalize it more. If I wasn't, like, emotionally, if I was upset about something, I could still kind of sit down and I could usually still be productive. And with copywriting, it's definitely going to be, if I'm in a bad mental place, it's going to be tough. So I'll have to. There'll be other things I can do. Maybe dive into research or something. So. But yeah. So the other thing that happened was because, like, this kind of feedback, working with the guys that I've been working with. I decided that I need a lot more of that, so I signed up for a copywriting course with John Charlton, or not Carlton, not Charlton. John Carlton is one of the best living copywriters, and he has a course that's pretty well regarded, and you get assigned a mentor through the whole thing. And so you're working with one other high level. Some of these guys are like A-listers who write for the huge big direct mail companies and stuff. So I signed up for that, and I'm diving into that. I'm really going to try to. What I want to try to do is like try to keep my client work to where I am not, to where I have like an hour or two a day to invest in my education, because I'm realizing like the networking and my education is really what's going to get me to the next level. Like I could take on 2 or 3 more small clients, or I could plow that time back into education and developing relationships with, because that's what's gotten me where I am now, is like the relationships that I have. I'm getting really high quality leads out of that. So I'm actually thinking that might be part of my strategy, is like pay people for coaching and then do good work for them and let them get to know me, and then they refer work to me.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it seems like it's worked so far. So, but yeah, so actually one of the instructors in this course that I'm taking is a guy that I was considering paying. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but he'll take you on as a coach, but he charges you $30,000 a year. And
small amounts.
Yeah, just a little bit. But he coaches in this course. I didn't get assigned to him, but he's one of the coaches. So so that's the quality of. Yeah. So it was like the course is like $2,000, and I had sworn, it was so funny because I had sworn that I was not going to buy any like courses or info products or anything for a few months after I quit my job, till I got everything stabilized. But this came up, and it was like I discovered it on. I first read about it on Monday, and then I was reading about it again on Friday because I couldn't get it out of my head. And then I looked, and the deadline to sign up was Monday. Well, it was starting on Monday, so the deadline was Sunday night. And I was like, well, maybe I could just catch it next time around. I was like, so I did a little research, and he offers this course completely randomly whenever he can get people together. And there was like a 3-year gap where he didn't offer it at all. And then it's been a year since he offered it last. So I was like, oh gosh, I got to jump on this. So I'm digging into that. My first assignment got slapped around already, so
Nice.
I'm working on it. Yeah, but it's been really good because I like the approach. So I've got the teaching and studying that I've gotten so far for copywriting has been a little bit fragmented, where like I know how to do different pieces of it, but as far as like a step-by-step process, I don't really have a good, and that's one of the things this course has, is like it's basically a 17-point checklist. Do these steps in this order. So it's just I'll probably develop my own system, but it's a really good framework to start with, and it's exposing, like with my running client, I'm using my running client for the course, and I didn't like the first assignment. I'm like, I don't know the answers to these questions, so let me go find. I guess I need to interview my client some more. And I'm getting great stuff. Like I didn't know how he got into this coaching, and it turned out that he was going to compete in like an Ironman World Championship, and he hurt his hamstring, and he had to sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else race. And he tried like everything. He tried all kinds of therapies, and nothing worked.
That's an awesome story.
I know, it's amazing. And he went to this coach.
The entire thing right there.
Like, it writes itself. Yeah, I know, and I didn't know this before. Before doing step 1 of this checklist. And so he goes to this coach, and the guy like fixes him up, and he's back. Like he jumps back into competition at a more advanced level than he was before he got hurt. Like doesn't miss a beat. And this is what this guy's teaching now. So
he's not using that to sell?
No.
Right? Oh my gosh.
I know. So so this course I'm really excited about. It's gonna be good. And I think my instructor, I think she's gonna be I think she'll be a good contact for me so she could potentially be somebody that would send me business. So yeah, so that's so the other cool thing is a little bit after this call, I have a call scheduled with Perry Marshall.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So I have his private line.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's got a side
Remember
project.
The red phone?
when you start making the big bucks, Josh.
So he's got a side project he's been working on, a book that he's writing, and he put out a call for volunteers, and I jumped on it. So I'm going to be working on a project with him, helping him out.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about that. A little nervous, but
Yeah, that's good for you.
Yep.
I lost all that. You voiced out.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, at the right suspenseful moment, and I think that's recording on my side, so I don't know.
Wait, so
Yeah,
what
we
was
were
the last
It's
thing you
recording
heard?
on the server. It's not on your.
What was the
But
last
it's
thing you heard?
recording what I'm seeing, I believe, because like when I switch the camera angles, I don't know. It might have been caught on there, but just in case it's not, could you repeat the like? I know that you're going to call. You've got Perry Marshall's private line, and then
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be working on a project with him. So
what?
yeah, so he's got a side project, a book that he's writing, and he put out a call for volunteers, and I signed up, and so yeah, well, he's given me an assignment, and I'll be like working directly with him on this. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's pretty
So-
awesome.
Yeah. It
yeah,
is.
it's pretty. So it's like, yeah, I'm real like just having my antenna up for that, because I would like to work with him and his company at some point. I think I'd honestly like take a job with them for a while, like if there was something that that they had open that I was qualified for. So
Everybody
I kind of
needs a janitor,
yeah, had my antenna up, and I saw this pop up, and it was funny because like for a while so we were corresponding through this. He started a message, like a private forum for people to it's basically like a jobs board kind of thing, but it's like only for people that are paid members of his group. So that like they're high level people, high quality people in there. So he had posted this kind of like a want ad in there basically, and I replied, and a day or two later I got an email back and it said Perry, and I was like, no, this has to be his secretary or something, but no, I think actually so I have gotten emails back from his assistant as well, and her name's Lorena. So I'm pretty sure that that he's actually been kind of vetting me here. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's pretty cool. And I know he does he auditions people. So he doesn't do interviews, he auditions. So you never know what this could turn into.
Yeah.
He's gonna ask you to sell him a pencil.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. No, my brother went into a sales interview a few years ago, and it was for like head of the sales department or something like that, and he had only a few minutes to do this interview with the CEO of the company. So he walks into the room, sits down in front of the CEO, and CEO says, "You have 5 minutes to sell me on you taking this job. Go." That was the entire interview. Just
Nice.
my brother making the sale, basically, just telling him everything about why he should be the one to get that job.
Well, that's what it is anyway.
Yeah, but it was like incredibly stressful because
Yeah.
it was completely out of the blue. Nobody had told him that was going to happen, and he had to make a sale right then and there, and without any conversation starters, without any questions, without any of the formalities. You got 5 minutes. Go.
Buy this pencil or I'll shove it in your eye.
Exactly.
So.
Any questions?
Yeah, so that's basically been my week.
So you're gonna have to do a video sales letter for Perry Marshall, like a live one. I'm
Oh
guessing.
gosh.
Send him a soccer ball
Yeah,
or some ham and pears.
Totally.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
I just saw him on Dane Maxwell's podcast, and I forgot what he calls it. He just had like a 2-hour interview with Perry Marshall. I don't remember what his podcast is called, but
yeah. I'm working my way into kind of the upper level, like direct marketing, copywriting circle. So it'll probably be a year or two before I really get a good foothold, but it's coming.
well, like a lot of important people know your name now.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah,
Like, you
it's
guys
pretty
are you?
hysterical. Yeah.
You should
Pretty-
definitely put a lot of names on your like list on your page.
One of the things. So Perry, before like when we were scheduling the call, he asked me, what are your 3 superpowers? You know, what would you say your 3 superpowers are? And I was like, I can only come up with 2, so that was all I did. But I said writing was one, and then my other one is like I've realized that this networking thing is just something that comes naturally to me, and has like it really irritated people when I did it in college, but I've managed to be able to like insert myself into these circles that are like way beyond my actual achievement and skill level, and just kind of I don't know, ride people's coattails a lot. So anyway, so the project he wants me to work on has some networking components to it. So
Nice.
I think I could do pretty well, but
That's pretty awesome.
yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. So
All right.
thoughts for the week. We actually have one this week, inspired by Josh just a few minutes ago.
Go, go, go.
So my thought for the week is, if you're always successful, you're not learning, which I think applies really
yes.
well to the problem that you've been having with that guy that had already exhausted his list. Well, there's a whole bunch of lessons to learn in that. A whole bunch of things that you're probably going to be doing differently, and more research up front, and all that kind of stuff. And same thing for me with the massive failure of the $1,500, $1,200 bundle, whatever it was, that I didn't sell any of. A lot of lessons learned about my audience, about the price points that people are able to spend, and all that kind of stuff. And it's true. If you're always successful in everything that you do, then you're not really learning anything, because you already know how to do it.
Yeah.
So push yourself beyond what you know how to do. Fail so that you learn and you'll improve.
Of course, if you're always successful, then you're always successful. But
Well, what a mundane and boring way to exist.
well, you're probably doing crappy things.
I heard
though,
about-
right? Like things that are below what.
Yeah,
like you're
things
never
that are
rising
just-
to a new plane if you're always
Right.
successful, right? You're always
Just
at the
floating
same level.
along.
Yeah.
I heard a story. I heard I think it was a Twilight Show episode. So this guy is like, he wakes up one day and it's like everything. It's beautiful outside. He walks outside. He buys a lottery ticket and he wins. And people just like are handing him ice cream cones.
Yeah, it's Twilight Zone episode.
Yep.
I
And
remember
then
that one.
and then the guy's like, he just gets bored and he's
Yep.
like,
He
he
hates
goes
it.
he goes to the head of the place and he's like, what kind of heaven is this?
No,
Guy's
it's
like,
just hell.
What makes you
Who's
think
that?
this is heaven?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
Derek, that's basically. I'm trying to I'm trying to embrace that discomfort.
Yeah, it sucks when it happens.
It's really it's been a hard. That's a lot of this week has actually been me just like fighting through that and actually like I'm realizing that it's better to fail with a safety net, and that's what my critique group is.
Right.
So I'm failing less. I'm failing 3 times before I give the work to the client,
Right.
and then it will be much stronger as a result. So
Yep.
I'll dovetail that one with keep doing things that make you feel uncomfortable. Like always, like, just because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Maybe like a few weeks ago, I hadn't ever really ridden on roller coasters, but now I've ridden on like 6 in the last in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So I just like force myself, like I'm just doing because it makes me uncomfortable. So same thing even with the flying now. Obviously I'm flying everywhere, and just being here in Paris, like trying to go and like order something at a beast. I didn't realize like I'd be uncomfortable like trying to speak because I've done YouTube videos and podcasts and interviews and all this stuff, and none of that stuff makes me uncomfortable anymore. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm talking on stage, right? All this stuff, but then something simple like that, like just ordering food, like trying to say something in French, made me uncomfortable. So like forced myself to do it. And then even an interesting one was I've been recording YouTube. Like I recorded a YouTube video at the Eiffel Tower, and then I recorded Get Up and Code podcast episode today, like in a park, in a public park, and like talking and recording on my phone, like in public, like it made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. So I'm like, wow, I need to do more of this because this makes me feel so uncomfortable. So I don't know. So that's my thought. Is just like keep on doing the things because that's where you really grow. Another place to grow is by doing the things that make you just like sick to your stomach, uncomfortable. I mean, heck, first time I was on a podcast, first time I ever recorded a YouTube video or recorded anything or published a blog post, I felt extremely uncomfortable. Now that's like just daily, like not a big deal. And look how much I've grown by doing those things. So that's it.
Nice. I'm gonna say, like, just leave Slack room, like, plan Slack room so that you can actually work on developing your skills. Don't take on so much that you're just barely getting it all done. Because I don't learn. I mean, for me, I don't learn that much by writing. I've written all my life, and I'm relatively good at it. What I learn is from like getting the crap beat out of me and rewriting. And if I don't plan that into it, then I could write, I could do this for 10 years and not really learn anything.
There's a really interesting study that was done about chess players. I can't remember which book I read this in. It might have been in Mastery.
And deliberate practice.
Exactly, yeah. They wanted to know if, do chess players improve better by playing a lot of games against higher caliber opponents or by practicing and watching videos like reading about the game, and it turns out that the deliberate practice is way more effective than actually competing. And so, and the same thing like musicians, like playing music, they play scales to improve, like or do practice, like the painful things, not actually playing a lot of songs if you want to get better. So I think you're right on track.
Yeah, and on top of that, what do you call a highway that's at 100% capacity? A parking lot.
Yeah.
You can't be running at 100% capacity all the time. I mean, that's your peak. That's when it's down to the wire and you're really pushing hard for something. But most of the time, you should be running at a low capacity so that you have room to stretch and grow and learn.
Yep. So one thing that I've been thinking about lately, for my thought, is just that your perception forms your reality, and it's the same for everybody else.
Yeah.
So, there are some things that are just true, and you just know that they're true. Some things are true, and you'll learn that they're true. And some things you're gonna assume are true, and you're gonna act like they're true until something interrupts that. And so, we talked about learning and things like that. But ultimately, this is not only the case for you, but it's also the case for other people. So you need to help shape people's perception so that they arrive at the truth you want them to. And this isn't a case of like manipulating the truth, but it's more a case of, for example, sales. You're helping them arrive at the truth of, I have this problem and here's this solution will solve it.
Right.
And so, that's kind of meta on top of some of the conversations we've had, but it's the basis for a lot of things, and when you get it, it makes a whole lot of other things a lot easier.
Yeah, you have me thinking about when I'm writing in my sales page right now.
I've heard it described as
well done, Chuck.
Framing, like it's not just like lying is distorting the truth. Framing is just how you see the reality, the truth. How you make
framing can be used for evil as well as good, so you do have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
How you frame the story tells the story.
Well, and that's the truth around things like statistics, right? Is that given a broad enough set of statistics, you can make it say almost anything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that what you're presenting isn't the case. You're just not showing the whole picture,
Right.
or you're interpreting it the way you want it to.
Plus,
And
73.9% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Or like bubbling.
hmm But
What?
the thing that's interesting about
Look up bubbling.
Okay.
is mostly that people do the framing based on the perceptions that they already have,
True.
and that's why you have people who, for example, in politics here in the U.S. specifically because we have the two-party system,
Yeah.
people who fall more generally to one side or the other, their perception of things not only has their choosing sides, but it also, when certain studies come out, you'll see both sides claim it as a victory because
Right.
they're using that perception to frame the facts in a way that is most acceptable to them.
Right. Good stuff.
All right. I should be around next week, hopefully. I'll be in Berlin, so same time.
Berlin, huh?
Very cool.
Awesome.
So is Paris like your home base then, and then you're?
It's
or
our
are you-
first spot on the trip, but then we're going to be staying in Berlin tomorrow. We're switching, going to a family's house there, so we'll be there for 3 weeks. Yep,
So you're renting different places around Europe for different periods of time.
Exactly. Yeah. We Airbnb this one in Paris, but then we're doing a home exchange with family in Berlin. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, it will be fun. I don't know how to say hello in German though. Is it Guten?
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag is good day. Guten Morgen is good morning.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. Guten Morgen, but okay.
Good morning.
I wish I knew enough German to get you in trouble.
I know how to. I know that, and I do know how to ask about the toilet, like where the toilet is. So, where is the shit or the poop and shits?
Nice.
Okay.
Got our
We
E
are so
rating
mature.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Ending it on that note. See you guys next week.
All right.
See you
See you
guys.
guys.
Bye.